Welcome to Keys to the Game for the season opener for the Red Raiders in 2012 against Northwestern State, taking place, of course, Saturday night at Jones AT&T Stadium. Brian Jensen, John Harris, Chris Lovell, the broadcast team for you for that game on radio. Make sure you listen to us, and when you do, you're going to find out what the keys to the game are. Each of us have one. Let's start with John.
Mine's on the offensive side, Brian. On the offensive line, you've got two new guards at right guard and left guard, LaRaven Clark and Alfredo Morales, a couple of guys who have not started the game for the Red Raiders, have not played in the Division I game in this kind of situation. I think that'll be very key. Can they protect Seth Dagey? Can they open up holes for the running game? I just think the play of those two will be very critical for the offense to have success.
And can they all stay healthy? Depth an issue for this team coming into 2012.
Absolutely. That's a huge issue on the offensive line, and I think it starts obviously up front to have offensive success. They have to stay healthy. There just aren't that many bodies for Neil Brown to choose from on the offensive front.
Sounds like an offensive key. That means I'm thinking that Chris Lovell must have a defensive key.
I'm going to roll that way. Yeah, we saw a lot of teams run right up the gut last year. In fact, 260 yards a game is what you gave up, ranked dead last in the country. So I think you're winning this football game. I think that's a given. But what I'd like to see is Delvon Simmons, Leon Mackey, Donnell Wesley, and Kerry Hyder, those guys up the middle, and maybe a guy like Will Smith at middle linebacker, kind of plug some of that stuff up and give some fans some hope about what maybe is to come, down the line this season. Because, again, this is a no-win situation for Texas Tech this game tomorrow night. When you play the FCS team, you're expected to win. If you win 75-7, which is the last time that they won, when they played this team, you schedule a better game. This more competition. That we didn't find out anything about your team, and if it's a close one, everybody panics. So, you're not really sure what you're going to get out of this one. Bottom line is I will be watching that defensive interior.
Just as long as it's not a 24-23 2001 against TCU with Northwestern State coming out ahead.
That's exactly right. And how about this? Key. How about this? Kansas State last year, they beat Eastern Kentucky 10-7 to open the thing up. And I think their fans were freaking out. They go on to win 10 games. So you just never know what you're going to get.
I think one of the keys tomorrow night or Saturday night, depending on when you're watching this, we obviously just told you when we taped it, is to have somebody step in the limelight. Maybe it's somebody that hasn't been there before. Maybe it's somebody that has. Maybe it's a Darren Moore. Maybe it's Javon Bell, Sadale Foster. I mean, somebody that steps up, has a big game, and is kind of the guy that you start looking forward to the next week. It has been Darren Moore in the past. It was Michael Crabtree years ago. I mean, there have been guys that in that opener, even against an opponent that is a lesser opponent, really kind of takes it upon himself to say, okay, the season has started. It's time for me to show. It'll be interesting to see if that's a Will Smith or if it's a how about Terrence Bullitt, somebody that steps up in their new position but has been here a while and suddenly says, watch me, this is what I'm going to do throughout the year.
I think from the offensive side, there are two players that might fit that description. Eric Ward is a guy the Red Raiders really want to get out of the gate in a hurry, and there's Jay Samaro, a tight end that the Red Raiders have not had, a kid that's 6'5", 260 pounds, caught 7 passes a year ago. He may equal his career high in the season opener, but I think those two on the offensive side, and of course Seth Dagey's got to get him the ball, but I think Eric and Jay Samaro are certainly two guys to keep an eye on.
Give me one other name to watch and that you think will be that guy tomorrow.
I'm going to give you
whenever you're watching.
I'll stay defensive theme. I'm going to go Brandon Jackson. He's a guy that, last year he travels with this team. He's a true freshman at the time, and he's suited up. He's ready to go, and one coach is kind of ready to push him into the game. Other coaches are holding on to him. They don't want to play him and burn the red shirt. But now he gets to start at defensive end. I think he's going to do very, very good. He's up to about 250, 260. So, again, this is one of these defensive playmakers, I think, that, on the edge that you're going to kind of, watch grow up a little bit this year.
One thing we do know, our broadcast is supposed to start at 5 o'clock p.m. Saturday night, 6 o'clock kickoff. And as much as we love our TV brethren, be sure to listen to us on whatever radio you might be listening to, whatever area you're in, on the Red Raider Sports Network.